One God, one nation, one people, one leader. Although the Big Bang Theory, often called the Big Explosion Theory, claimed that the universe was formed by an explosion, according to my Christian faith, I testify there is a spurious correlation between the formation of the universe and the Big Bang Theory. I believe in one God who has been created the world, and that God is a God of compassion, love, kindness, charity, sincerity, to name only some of his qualities. If you were a God of corruption, a jester, a God of hypocrisy, a selfish God, he would arrange with Pharaoh to keep the Israelites enslaved in Egypt. It could be accepted to destroy agriculture, fertile land of Israel. It could complot with Pharaoh to destroy the herds of Israel in order to create a paradigm of dependency, as Haitian political leaders are doing. If the Lord was selfish, he would not be created a single human race on the surface of the earth. He has been created a world for all human beings. He is a Democrat in the true sense of the word, a God of justice. Job 34 verse 12 is stated, "It is unthinkable that God would be wrong, that the Almighty would pervert justice. He has created man to control his will, his destiny. He doesn't preach democracy to deceive others. He did not establish a monetary institution, an institution to lend money with interest to other nations in order to control them. Exodus 22 verse 25 says, "If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like a money lender. Charge him no interest." For example, Greece, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, to name a few, could not pay the interest of the debt because the interest of world money lender charged them are too high. Leviticus 25 verse 35 states, "If one of your countrymen become poor and he is unable to support himself among you, help him as you would an alien or a temporary resident, so he can continue to live among you. According to the commandment of God, in his goodness, his generosity, compassion." I use the expression of God's commandment. It's because many rich countries use the name of God to destroy these small countries, to make them drop the substance for the shadow, to interfere in the internal politics of the poor countries, to control, to defraud the election, which claim to be free and fair according to democratic principle. However, man and every nation has been created free by God to determine their own destiny. But the destiny of Haiti, African countries, the countries of Latin America, Santo Domingo. Attention, when I mention Santo Domingo, I want to focus on something. I am talking about the Santo Domingo, that took its independence on January 1st, 1884. I am not talking about that Santo Domingo. I am talking about Santo Domingo that took its independence the January 1st, 1804. And that France imposed on this new state an indemnity of 150 million francs as an independence debt. And the United States took 58 years to recognize that independence from 1804 to 1862. And during that time, they talk about the abolition of slavery. That was a decree by the National Convention, February 4th, 1794. And in 1789, came the Declaration of Human Rights, in which Article 1 said, men are born and remain free and equal in right. Social distinction may be found only upon the general good. If I want to understand, if I want to wonder, or I want to question myself, I want to know those people who claim they were civilized. The nation that lived was all a nation of light, cradle of intelligence. How they can ignore, or how they could ignore what constituted a human being, ignore the anatomy of human being. People that they forced into slavery, they think they were not human, and that was why they did not enjoy the Declaration of Human Rights. Wow, what hypocrisy! What idiocy of hypocrisy! In addition, Thomas Jefferson, the father of the Declaration of Independence of the United States, had declared, we hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure this right, government are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government become destructive of this end, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute a new government. However, during that same time that Thomas Jefferson made this statement, there were slaves in Haiti. And in his statement, he printed to the slave, or he advised to the slave, that they have the right to the pursuit of happiness. The slave of Santo Domingo followed the advice of Thomas Jefferson while revolting, demanding their freedom. And finally, on January 1st, 1884, they took their independence. They took their freedom while seeking the way to happiness. But the United States was the first country that had punished Haiti for following the advice that Thomas Jefferson gave to the slaves. The United States refused to recognize the independence of Haiti, like I did mention. And it took the United States 58 years to recognize this independence, from 1804 to 1862. And that independence has been recognized by Abraham Lincoln. And despite of this tribulation, they persisted to destroy, to impoverish the country. Since then, Haiti started to pay the price of its independence. Haiti is under a modern form of occupation. There are you seeing Haitian politicians that lack of judgment, lack of intelligence and reflection to destroy their own countries. The context of one nation, one people, one leader does not exist in Haiti. It does not exist in Santo Domingo. It does not exist in the countries of Latin America. Generally speaking, this concept does not exist in almost all poor countries. In other terms, the third world countries, because the political leaders of wealthy countries read from the face of the political leaders of the poor countries the stupidity, lack of intelligence, lack of reflections, and they profit this opportunity to corrupt them. Only God is for all, and He encourages others to help the poor. Deuteronomy 24 verse 19 says, when you are harvesting in your field and you are overlook a sheaf, do not get back to get it. Leave it for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands. God has been created man in every nation to pursue, to determine their own destiny and pursue their well-being. However, many political leaders of various nations pretend that they believe in God and they are contrary to his will, the will of God. It is not God's will for Haiti to be a poor country. It is not God's will for the Haitian politician, the politician of the third world countries, the politician of the country of Latin America, the politician of African country, to let the political leaders of the rich countries destroy the natural wealth, the agriculture, the herds of the poor country in order to establish an import dependency situation. A nation that doesn't pursue its own destiny, a country that depends on the other nation to choose the president of its country, it is a country that is still live in a slavery. Another nation that uses the name of God to trap, to dominate, to corrupt, to bring other nations under the modern occupation, violate the commandment of the Lord. 2 Corinthians 11 verse 13 and 14 said, "For such men are false prophets, deceitful, workers, masquerading as a person of Christ." And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. Thank you. May God bless all.